Welcome to lesson 3 of the Eye of the Needle course. This is the lesson on imagination and visualization. So again, I'll ask you to relax your common ways of learning, relax your brain and relax your mind. And let's try and understand this subject like we've been doing with the others, in a different way, knowing that it's a different path to understanding our true essence than the path that we usually take to understand other things in our lives. So take a deep breath. Breathe in and let all the air come out. See that probably right now you already have some images in your mind. We're constantly surrounded by internal images in our mind. We're constantly surrounded by stories in our mind. And the visuals that we see inside our mind are very powerful, and our inner vision, when we have our eyes closed, when we can see with our eyes closed inside our mind, like when we're fantasizing about something, or we're daydreaming, or we're imagining something that we want in the future, that sensory perception, that sense of visualization is very powerful for our brain. It causes an impact in our brain, because even though our real eyes aren't seeing our fantasy, it's not right here in front of us, our brain doesn't know the difference between seeing something for real in front of us and us truly visualizing something in our minds, in our quiet selves. So when we visualize something, when we imagine something in the future, like when you imagine the holiday that you want to take, or the person that you want to become, or how it's going to be in March when you take that trip to Brazil, all those inputs go directly into our brain, and our body feels that experience as if it was happening right now. That's fascinating, and that's very empowering for us. So can you imagine every time that we imagine or go back with our memory in time to something uncomfortable or painful that happened to us, and we relive that moment, our brain and the cells in our body and even our bloodstream thinks that it's happening right now. Our whole nervous system goes into alert again, as if it's happening right now. There is no difference to the physical makeup of the body, something that happened 10 years ago, or if it's happening now. Because if we really imagine it, it's really happening now for our body. So our body starts releasing endorphins or adrenaline or depressing stimulants for us to calm down in the same way as it would in the real situation. Maybe a little less, but if our imagination is really good, we can really get into that state of being. Like a good actor can do that on stage. So we're constantly imagining and visualizing. We do it all day long. It's imagination and visualization that brings into life everything that exists in the world, from a brick that makes up a house, to a rocket that flies into space and lands on the moon, to a fantastic career, changing the world, having a huge impact in the world. Everything begins with imagination. So look around the room that you're in right now and see all the probably hundreds of objects, if we really count all of them, in our room right now. And all those objects were birthed in imagination. They all came out of our minds, of somebody's mind, of somebody's oh, I'm going to make something like this made out of glass, to put liquid inside so people can hold it and drink it, and so the liquid won't go away, and so we don't have to drink from the river anymore and hold the water in our hands. We can actually get the water and take it back to our cave, to our house, to our home. So every single thing in the, let's start with this world, was created in imagination. So you can see just from that how powerful it is, and how powerful our imagination is to create something that's beneficial and something that's destructive. And even we can use our imagination to turn something beneficial into something destructive, and vice versa, transform something that's killing people into something that could be healing people. So how does that apply? How does imagination and visualization apply to us? Us, normal human being, in our lives, going through our day, waking up, we start thinking, we start talking inside our minds, we start going through what we have to do. From the moment we wake up, I'm not going to talk about sleep right now because it's a little different, but from the moment we wake up, we're already using our mind with visuals. Not only are we seeing the world around us, our house, for example, but what we are seeing outside of us in our house is informing how we feel inside. So, for example, you can wake up and go, oh, this is the same place that I've been, and so this place makes me feel like this. I know that happens to me a lot, and I have to really make an effort to skip that part where I am taking the lead from my external environment, where I'm not leading my external environment. And that's a place that I think many people fall into. I definitely do. We see the world around us and we let that world inform us. We let that world inform how we feel. Whereas in actual facts, if the world around us was completely created by us, by our imagination and our visualization and our creation, then we are the ones that inform our external world, not the other way around. Imagination is a space, it's a place that we go into internally. It's our private inner world where we dive into, sometimes with more intention, to imagine and visualize something specific, like in a meditation. Visualize your body as light, visualize your heart expanding, visualize light flowing up through your central channel, visualize the oxygen coming in through one nostril and coming out through the other one, and visualize that stream of oxygen coming in and out. So we can visualize in meditation. But imagination is the space that we go into inside of ourselves, and then visualization is a tool that we use. It's like having a holographic game that we can tweak and change things around. So visualization has to do with the image itself. We visualize an image. I am a body of light. That's the tool of visualization. I am a body of light. So you build that, you create those visuals of your body being made of light. That's a visualization directed to your body. And then you can direct it outwards. I see my partner's body as being made of light as well. So you're using visualization to change how you see yourself and how you see the other. But imagination is the great space that we go into to use the tool of visualization. Within the space of imagination, we can use the tools of visualization, visualizing a body of light. We can use the tools of sound, so I can hear beautiful music or beautiful sounds all around me, whatever sounds those may be. And I can use the sense of smell as well inside the space of imagination. I can smell flowers, I can smell nectar, I can smell purity, I can smell creativity. You can imagine an environment where all the sensorial perceptions are different, are of a higher octave of quality and purity and consciousness. But imagination is a great pool that we go into to use the tools of our sensory perception in a different way than we do in our day-to-day lives. In our day-to-day lives, we see our house, that informs us. In our day-to-day life, we hear the neighbor, that informs us. We smell the smell of our house, the smell of the neighbor's barbecue or the neighbor's fireplace. That informs us. And usually it's repetitive stimuli through the years or through the months. So that repetitive stimuli gives us the information, oh, everything is the same. Everything is the same from day to day to day. Everything is the same. That's because we're letting our outside inform us. But when we catch ourselves doing that, we can remember that we are the creator. That I'm going to say we as in like the human mind, okay? But we created the cup. We created the car. We created the rocket. We created medicine that cures people. We created that. So all of creation comes from inside of us and turns into the world outside of us. It's not the world outside of us that was born and that world affects us. Remember always that we are in the most empowering position, because everything comes from us as creators, from the birth of imagination. In Buddhist Tantra, there's a really good saying that says, imagination is making the impossible possible. And they also say in Tantra, imagination and visualization is bringing the result to the path. So what does that mean? Bringing the result to the path means how free we are, in my mind. If I want to gain a certain state of being, realize myself in a different octave, really make a change in my life. I'll use that example. I want to really step into a finer version of myself. I want to evolve. If we visualize and imagine that state of being already right now, so let's say I'm going to imagine and visualize who I would like to be in 20 years' time. I don't need 20 years to do that. I can do that right now. I can go inside. I can imagine and visualize my body if I want in 20 years' time. I can visualize the state of mind that I want to be in. And really let that imagination and visualization become so powerful that it informs my feelings, so that I actually become that person who's going to be real in 20 years' time. I become the ideal version of myself right now. So it's a bit like time traveling. We're going there, but we're bringing the result to the path, to right now. So we can have that result right now. If we create that result right now, our brain gets activated and goes, okay, this is who I am right now. Our mind gets activated. This is what's happening right now. The cells in our body start to rearrange and bump against each other in a different way, to organize themselves in a way to give the body energy in a way that is congruent with that person 20 years time. But right now our blood starts to flow differently. Our body might start to change as well. We might start to heal in different ways that we didn't know. So that's what it means by, that's what Tantra, the lamas, mean when they say bringing the result to the path. When we imagine, when we create with our endless creativity, just infinite creativity, we are bringing the future to the present, to this exact moment. And for the moment that we are doing that, it is real. It is completely real. And the more we are willing to play with ourselves, not like that, but play with our minds, to really relax into that space and give it all we have, to really let our imagination build and create whatever it is that we are wanting right now, so that it brings feeling, sensation, and it brings a complete sensorial experience. The more that will enrich the reality of that right now, and it will create a great change in our consciousness, in our mind. It will do that. Because whatever we tap into energetically, emotionally, visually, and with our imagination, becomes the reality of our whole system. In the fight or flight theory, so fight or flight is our adrenaline that gets kicked in when there's a stressful situation. So in the past, when we lived outside, we saw a tiger coming in or a bear, bear. So we either fight the bear or we run as fast as we can away from the bear. That's fight or flight. So that's an instinct we have. Nowadays, there's that level of stress is hopefully and most probably non-existent in our lives. But when we have that feeling of great stress, it's a feeling that informs all our body. It informs our cells and our blood cells. It informs our brain and our mind and our hearts. It informs our emotions and our feelings. It informs our whole structure to telling us that something is happening and our life is in danger. But it probably isn't in danger. It's just a little stressful situation. Somebody came in that you have a hard time with, or something, and your adrenaline peaks up and you find it hard to deal with that, and the body just goes in like, I have to run away, or I have to fight this person and kill them. The fight or flight instinct is directly linked to our imagination of that situation. So we have a pre-movie, a pre-version of what that situation is, and we let that imagery inform how we're going to act. So the next time we have a stressful situation like that, where we feel like we have to leave the environment, remember, and this is hard because the fight or flight is extremely fast, and we usually act on it before we're able to gather our senses and see what's actually going on. But if it's a situation where it's actually not life-threatening and there's no violence involved, but it's just a very stressful situation, we can see that as us being completely powerless and letting our environment inform what's happening to us, rather than knowing that we can inform the environment as well. And this can take a little time. It's not an easy one. I mean, this is like practicing in the great stressful moments. A good thing to do is when there is a big stressful moment is put both your feet on the floor. If you're cross-legged or something, put both your feet on the floor and keep your spine straight and breathe. And for those few seconds where you are in that situation, before you actually leave, if you want to leave, see that you can inform that situation. You are the one who is also imagining that situation. You are bringing your side of the game to that situation. So that power you have. So see the situation and you inform it, and then make a decision to leave. So this is a great and difficult moment to practice when we're in a split-second moment where all our instinct is knotted up and telling us to disappear or fight. We create our environments. We imagine our environments. And we feed our environment with our imagination all the time. We're always spreading those seeds of what this means, what that means. And we further enhance those visualizations and that imagination after events have happened. So we're always using imagination and visualization. We're always creating, always, constantly creating in our minds. And that creation is powerful. It's not nothing. So when we spend the day thinking about something negative, it has a great power to inform us of how we are. It has great power to show us a reality that we are. And that can get lodged in us. We become that, because whatever we imagine and visualize, we become as well. And depending on the level of our creativity in that process, it can be extremely powerful. One meditation session of great imagination and visualization can really change your whole structure and your outlook on life. But beyond the meditation and sitting down doing this practice, I'm interested in how we are using it in our day-to-day. So how we are letting our environment continuously inform us, how we are letting our versions of ourselves in the past inform us now. We continuously bring them back to life, imagining them, and we visualize them. And that visualization is so strong. Like I said, it has sound, it has smell, it has a feeling. Most important of all, it has great feeling and great sensation. It's a whole creation. It's a whole creation. It's a whole identity. And it's very alive. And from a very negative creation, more negative things can be imagined into it, and it can grow and spiral out. From a very positive and good feeling imagination creation of ourselves, more positive things can grow out of that. So it's a great power, and it's a great relief to see that just in the room that you're in right now, that every object around you was created by imagination. Somebody imagined it, sat down, drew it, and went about to make it. Got the money to make it, went to the factory to make it. Like every single thing is imagination. Even the way we look at nature in our own backyard. You have trees that you see every day. You start to develop a relationship with it. And that relationship is made of imagination as well. It's made of feeling. You have a story. So we're constantly creating. Know that you are the creator of everything. Nothing created can inform you of who you are, because you inform creation. If we can think of creation as a creation, I mean the whole world around us where we circulate every day. If we can think of that world as a being, as a person, that person wakes up every day, the world around us wakes up every day and is looking to us, like a blank slate. Who am I? What meaning will you give to me today? What do you want me to be? What do you want me to do? So the world is always waiting for us to inform it. But what we usually do is that we wait for the world to inform us. We wait for our environment to inform us. We get out of the creator seat. And we do that. I don't know why we do that. I really don't. I think it has to do with the sheer density of existing inside a human body, and having our eyes to look out, and our ears to hear, and our nose to smell, and our mouth to feel, taste. I think this sensory system is very, very specific and very locked in. I think that's why it's hard for us to feel that we can like move away from that sensory system. And that's what the first class in the Eye of the Needle and the second class on emptiness are talking about, for us to relax that allegiance to our sensory system and start to imagine a different realm, and start to bring that different realm into the present, so we can start creating from our seat of being the creator. So we can start imagining and visualizing from our seat of infinity, and start informing our world in a better way, start informing our world and our surroundings with more joy, more well-being, more happiness, more confidence, and less anxiety, less tension. When our visualization and our imagination is rich, like my imagination, visualization of myself is rich in the direction that I want it to be, this imagination becomes self-sustaining, and it gains a life of its own. So it gains momentum. It starts to move by itself. One great moment will usually lead to another great moment, and so on and so on and so on. Whereas if we're stuck in a negative downward spiral, that usually leads to more of a negative downward spiral, and then it's harder to get out of it. So if we've built our idea of our inner self to an extent where we can actually feel a change, like feel it in our body, like you have the sensation of it. I'm not visualizing a Rebecca outside here made of cardboard, made of light. It's not that. My teacher used to always say that in retreats, in really long meditation retreats. There's a lot of visualization to do in Buddhist Tantra, a lot. It's like all visualization, the whole prayer and the whole meditation is constant visualization, and it's very detailed and very complex. So in the beginning, he would say, like, it's not, you don't see the Buddha out here like a poster. You see him, but he is alive. He's alive with color, and he's alive with the quality of color that the full moon gives off at night. So everything's alive. In the beginning, we make an effort to just create that visual in our head, and it can seem very two-dimensional and very dull. But if we keep doing it, it'll grow more and more alive to the point where it's no longer a visualization outside of us, but a feeling inside of us. It comes into us, it becomes us. And when visualization and imagination become feeling and experience, then you know you are really transforming your essence. You're transforming your direction and your body. What we're wanting to change, when I say we're changing our essence and our body and our feeling, is that we're changing the frequency, we're changing the vibration of where we're at. mind is so powerful. We can, right now, without even if we don't want to visualize anything, we can grab from our toolbox a good feeling sensation, like the feeling of being alive and being present right now. When feeling comes into your meditation, it's like it creates a double with our being, who we are right now. The new feeling comes in, the new frequency comes in and creates a new vibration, so we're in a different place. That's why when we go to retreats and when we do meditation sessions, or even if we have a fantastic holiday in an amazing place, we feel like we've changed, like we're a different person. And that's real. We have changed. So because we've been using our whole system, our whole imagining system and visualizing system in a completely different way that we're not used to, and bringing in much higher frequencies into our body, and those frequencies lock into us and they become us. Remember when you're testing the waters of imagining and visualizing, and we'll do an exercise soon, remember to use the examples of the other classes of relaxing your identification with your body and relaxing your identification with the world around you and the objects around you. Know that you are emptiness. You are of the nature of emptiness. What is emptiness? Emptiness is the great possibility, the great creator. From emptiness can come anything, all the objects in your room, yourself included. So tap into that identification of sorts that you are both creator and creation, because all of creation is of the essence of creator. All is of the essence of emptiness and complete freedom. So breathe in, close your eyes, relax into your complete state of emptiness. Relax the whole world around you and your body. Don't identify with anything. Don't even identify with your own body, with your own person, your own personality. Just for a moment, give everything away. Let everything return to its true existence of emptiness. Let everything settle into its true existence, completely free of your ideas of them. Just let them return. Just stop. Then you see this quality of this empty canvas that everything has when we relax all our identification and our projections with everything around us and ourselves. Continue to let everything go, let everything relax, let everything be. Now, still not identifying with your body the way it is, just tap into your breathing. Try to feel your breath coming in and out through your nose, but less connected with your body as you know your body to be. Just feel the breath coming in and out. Now tap into what you are before the body, which is of the nature of light, and visualize a dot, a small globe of light in the center of your chest, completely three-dimensional, like a perfect, realistic, completely alive hologram, white, bright, like a full moon on a dark night. See those light rays moving out from that center. Most importantly, feel those light rays moving out, moving in whatever way they're moving in your mind. Now see that light from that central dot completely, peacefully moving up towards your brain in a straight line, passing through your throat, your face, your forehead, like a slow, beautiful elevator, and landing in the center of your brain on the top, close to your skull. And see that line of light. This is a simple visualization. See that line of light. It's alive. See it as it's almost a creature of its own. It's made of pure bliss and love and balance, floating up towards your brain, towards your crown chakra. And let your breath follow your imagination. Let your breath follow your visualization. Let your breath change and play with that visualization as it gives you feelings and sensations. And if you lose it, come back to it. Now on the top of your head, on your crown chakra, right in the space between your brain and your skull, I want you to visualize that line of light spreading out into a big circular shape of light that covers the entire top part of your head. So it's pure light now oozing out, now spreading out like liquid through the top part of your head, creating like a landing dock, a circular landing pad. That light is alive. Give it an electric quality. Give it a neon quality. But see the light particles within that light moving and alive. Give it a quality of great alive brightness, brightness that is self-intelligent and self-directing and completely connected as you and with you, completely available to transform and move in whatever way you want, for whatever purpose you want. Feel that light and feel it like affecting your brain as well. Feel it moving through the soft little pores and going into your brain in the most delicate, beautiful way, like a veil flowing down. Let your brain be filled with light. Imagine your brain. Picture your brain in your head. All those tunnels, all those wormy tunnels. Now go back to the visualization of the bright light and let that light fill your brain. It fills your brain to the point where you no longer see the physical brain. You just see your brain as light. The contours of the brain, the organ, but the quality and the essence and the main ingredient is light. Fill your head with light. And let your breath help you. Let your breath pull in that visualization if you want. Breath will anchor that image and will anchor that feeling. It's like a servant. Breath is a servant. It goes out and it brings back into your physical experience what you are creating with your mind. Relax your identification with the world around you. Relax your identification with your body as you know it. Now feel that light that is your brain now, that is filling your head, start to move up again towards its initial circular landing pad on the top of your skull. That landing pad diminishes and becomes one dot of light. Follow that path, follow that path. Now you see that one dot of light on the top of your head. Lock into it. Lock into it with your internal eye. Light. One laser beam. And you start tracking down that laser beam like a slow elevator. Down, passing your eyes, passing your nose. Don't lose it. Passing your mouth, your throat, moving down and settling back into the source of light that we began in the center of our chest. Feel that source of light in the center of your chest. Let that light, which is informed by you, which is created by you, also inform you, which seems like the opposite of what was said in the beginning. We don't let our outside world inform us so much as we inform it. But when you're in that space of your own imagination and visualization, which brings great peace and it's a great reset. You develop a relationship with your own creations, and pretty soon they will start moving effortlessly inside of you without you having to consciously direct so much. Of course, it is you that is creating that movement, but it will be less and less of a conscious effort. It'll truly become a dance where you affect that light in this case, and this light affects you. And the longer you can stay with it, the longer you can let this light inform your sensations, inform your body, inform how you feel. It will change. If we had nodes attached to our brain in a scientific experiment, we would see changes, immediate changes in how our brain is flowing, for example. So definitely use your body as a geography to pinpoint your imagination and your visualization. In this case, for example, of visualizing this light. Use your body, and it's good with your eyes closed. You track light going up and down, and you can track that light and see it from different perspectives. You can see it from yourself being inside the light and moving up. You can see it you can practice as being outside the light and seeing the light moving up. You can be underneath it, you can be on top of it. I mean, then you're really going to start getting into the training of the minute details of navigating your internal spaceship of awareness and imagination and visualization and creation. Then you can really, for example, go into your, let's say the liver, we're doing a liver cleanse, you can send that note and really go into your liver and see how it's doing. And through the power of the whole system that is you, start affecting it and communicating with it and suggesting changes and listening to what your liver is telling you as well. It's very much like having a camera for a movie. You can have all sorts of angles on one scene. Your internal gaze, your internal visualization is like that as well. You have all the angles you want on any creation. Now, this was a very specific meditation on a dot of light. When we imagine our day to day, or we imagine ourselves and how we want to change, or changes we want to bring about in ourselves, it's not so surgical, not so surgically specific like this light. This is great training. When we're thinking about greater things like how we want to change, we are bringing in feeling. We're imagining feeling in this case. And we can see ourselves, if we want to, in our mind's eye and what we want to change. But what we're mostly doing is we're throwing a net out into like the feeling of what we want to be, the feeling of what we want to become, the feeling that we want more of. And the more we can pretend, in a sense, that feeling comes in, we pretend and pretend, it actually becomes a shift in our vibration. It becomes a shift that we can feel. So we become that new self right now, even if for just a few seconds. It is a reality for those few seconds, and it causes an effect in our whole system. So keep bringing that up, knowing that you are the creator, you are the great source of imagination and creation. So keep choosing the images you want for your life, always. Don't let those images be given to you constantly by the world, by the situation of the world around us, by our media, by the people around you even. Don't believe what you see, is what I'm saying. There is an element of truth to what we see, but for now, let's give attention to what we create from the inside out. What we see through our creation from the inside out. What I'm wanting to say through all the lessons in this course is to give our attention to parts of our existence that have been overlooked and don't get as much attention as the outside world. And meditation is that. It's diminishing that outside world to give space to what's inside. And imagination is a tool to give space to what's inside so that that can actually manifest itself in the outside world. Remember, it always starts from the inside and it's created in the outside. What's already created, in a sense, is dead. It's already done. Creation is non-stop. So give allegiance to your inner world and your tool of visualization and your tool of feeling and a tool of bringing into reality from the inside out. Remember, all this is an illusion in a way that we created and that we've become slaves to. We are the mainframe computer and we are dependent on that little laptop out there, which is reality, when in reality it's the other way around. We are the mainframe computer. We dictate what that laptop will do. And if not nice things are happening out there, it's because of us. That is the great pill to swallow that we're swallowing right now in our times. It is all because of us. And so how are we imagining the world that we're seeing out there? How are we helping to create it? How are we part of the problem by not being powerful enough creators, by not using our imagination and our sensation of ourselves and who we are in the best way possible? You know, how are we not part of the solution? And that's a great question to ask. So we see from the inside, we create from the inside, because life responds to us, not the other way around. We've been doing it the other way around. We respond to life, but it's like, oh, now I created this, and then I let that determine how I'm going to feel, when in actual fact I created it. So I'm going to continue creating it and changing it and transforming it and creating new things, and not let the reality that I've created stagnate and dictate who I am. So that's why it's good to always follow when people say follow your bliss and follow your excitement. That is your creative principle going, look here, go here, even if you actually don't end up going, but follow that feeling, because that is the creative process. That is your imagination and your visualization moving through you so that you can create more of the life that you want. I think that's it. Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And think of your visualization and your imagination as the program that's inserted into your emptiness body. It's your great program, and it's always updated. It's your great program of creation. Everything that you create comes from imagination and visualization initially. That's the starting point. And you give life to what's already created through your imagination of those things that already have been created. So pay attention how you're using your creative domain inside of you in your life. And let that inform you as well, because that is your buddy. That's your ally. Together you'll create. It seems like it's two things, but it's one, but it's your buddy. So let your creative energy inform you of the directions you want to go, and you ride along with it and inform it as well. And together you're going to have a blast. Thank you.